and then like they went nuts. Twitter went nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, she put out a tweet.
We're live. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Welcome back to Truth for the People. This week, we're dropping a late one.
A late one and maybe a shorter one than usual. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
It's in the spirit of the topic of today. That's our reasoning. Just... Yeah, that's the topic of today, but hold on, I'm just going to mess with some of the audio over here real quick. I know while I'm doing that, you were talking about, right before we were about to start, you were talking about this, something about Candace Owens.
yeah, she put, I guess Vogue magazine, I think it was, had they had a picture or something of Harry Styles, one of the One Direction, former One Direction band, one of them, and he was in like in a gown or in a dress or something like that.
Yeah,
you can even pull it up if you want. And Candace Owens tweeted something like, "Where this." Our country or our culture needs manly men, or where are the manly men, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like apparently there was like a big like outcry on Twitter, like it was like a firestorm, you know? And she was saying like the left is against anything that's normal, you know? Like anything that's normal, they're against. Like any normal values, normal things, they're just against that. They want to tear that down. They want to tear down the culture, the values of this culture. They want to tear down everything, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately goes back to the Great Reset. I think it was yesterday. So you're gonna have to scroll down.
Just while we look for this,
Go down.
just to share the picture.
Don Jr., you're never going to convince me that this isn't peak masculinity.
And it shows a picture of Bill Clinton in the blue dress.
Yeah. Well, the one with Harry Styles, I think it's much. There was look, Elijah Wood's go up more. Elijah Wood, I think you missed the definition of what a man is. Masculinity alone does not make a man. So there was like celebrities and stuff getting back at her. It should be further down.
Don't tempt me, Frodo.
Yeah. Don't tempt me, Frodo.
Shoot.
She was like trending or something. I'm not on.
Candace Owens is 50 years behind on culture and education. Here's Iggy Pop, David Bowie, and Kurt Cobain all cross-dressing.
That's disgusting, bro.
It is.
Bro.
I don't care how...
I mean, you can do what you want, but that's not...
Yeah.
That's not culture, man.
I don't care how culture forward we are or we're supposed to be.
50 years behind on culture and education, like, you see, that's what progressivism is, you know? Or however you say that.
Candace Owens, since I'm trending, I'd like to clarify what I meant when I said bring back manly men. I meant bring back manly men.
That's it. Like, it's so simple.
Terms like toxic masculinity were created by toxic females. Real women don't do fake feminism. So, sorry. I'm not sorry.
I like her, bro. She's tough.
I love her.
That's a strong woman right there.
Oh, heck yeah. That's real feminism.
Yeah.
The kind of feminism I can stand behind.
Yeah, that's like, and you notice that women like that, they're not feminists, quote unquote, you know?
Yeah.
They don't need feminism. They don't need a philosophy. They don't need a ideology to be strong.
Yeah.
They're just strong.
Right.
And that's it. They speak their mind and...
They don't stand up for this so-called cause.
Yeah.
They're just strong.
Yeah.
Period.
They
have a backbone. They don't like follow the trend of society or culture. That it might be going in a certain way or something.
they don't.
They know what they believe in.
Yeah, they don't need the mob collectivism,
and they don't back down from the mob.
Yeah,
just like real men and real women.
It's just like these, like a lot of people say, Antifa. These guys.
Yeah,
like in the mob. Yeah, they'll attack you. They'll like talk trash on you and stuff. Alone, they're wimps.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
they only have power in the mob.
Yeah, like that one. Did you see that one video of the Marine who was a security guard for like the press during the riots that were happening? And there's video of him caught where, I guess Antifa and these guys were burning. It was in Seattle. They were burning stuff down. They were burning a police car.
Oh.
And the police car was abandoned because obviously Antifa overran it. And the Antifa people opened up the trunk of the car and found an AR-15 in the back of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy only had a pistol. And he's like, this has become real. So he went into like army mode basically.
Dang.
And he went up to those guys and he's like, he used more colorful words, but basically he's like, drop that gun. And he's like walking to them towards with his pistol, his finger on the trigger. He was just about to shoot the guy. But he said the only thing that saved that guy's life is that he lowered the gun. And then he realized that the guy was too much of a wimp to like bring it up and shoot him.
Oh, he's like, oh, okay.
Otherwise, he would have shot him if he wouldn't have lowered the gun. And he just ran up to the guy, grabbed the gun. And then he's like, get the F out of here.
Wow.
And then the guy like runs off. And then,
wow, man.
there was another guy. There was another police car, and after he saw that, I think it was another police car. You guys can fact check me on this. Anyway, another guy had another AR, another Antifa dude, and he went into like, you know how like in big buildings in downtowns they have like a little opening before you get inside the building. Mm-hmm. It's kind of covered. He like ran back there and was like trying to figure out how to use the gun, I guess, or see if it was loaded. I don't know. And he like hunted this guy down, and got in there, and the guy was like shocked to see him. And he just grabs the gun and rips it from him. He's like, get the F out of here before I...
Wow, man.
And then the guy like runs off. So that's a real man versus a bunch of wimps.
Yeah.
Like how you were saying about Antifa.
That's what collective... it's all about the collective.
And just to wrap up that story, he ended up taking the ARs, taking them apart, went to where the police were during the riots with the guns broken open so like they're not usable. And he removed the firing pins from them. So even if somebody put them together and put the whatever to shoot, it wouldn't have shot. Mm-hmm. And he went to the police, and as he was walking towards them with his hands out and the guns hanging over his arm, he was like yelling at them. He's like, I'm just bringing you your own guns. They're your own guns. And the cops were like freaking out, obviously, because friggin' riots going on.
Who knows what this guy's doing.
And then finally, when they realized that he was bringing them the guns, they're like, oh, thanks. And they grabbed it from him.
That guy was a Marine, you said?
Yeah. True American hero right there.
You definitely know what you're doing with guns if you're a Marine, you know? Which, I don't know, maybe, I myself don't have a gun, but maybe I should get one and learn how to, like, take it apart, put it back together. And
if Biden ends up actually winning, you might have to get it sooner rather than later.
Where I live, I don't think I'll necessarily need it. But
no, you won't.
I don't want to say where I live because that's private, obviously, but...
Right.
It's not in the big cities.
It's out of town, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and I'm heading out of town
Praise
too.
God for that. Yeah, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm in St. Louis now, but I can't wait to get out of St. Louis.
Dude, Dad told me. I mean, you kind of mentioned it before, but I didn't know like when and stuff. And Dad kind of told me like, hey, you want to maybe finish some stuff up here, and then
we're like in the middle of remodeling. I just finished fixing up our garage because it was pretty bad. There was a lot of rotten wood, and still like the plates that the 2x4s came down on. For those of you who know construction, those are all rotten. So I just redid all that with Dad. I had to jack up the roof, lift up the walls, and then pull those out, put new ones in. We're refinishing the outside of it now with siding, and then I got to redo like the covered porch area. And then once we finish that, I'm waiting for the price of lumber to come down because of COVID, price of lumber like more than doubled. It almost
crazy, man.
No, it doubled in price. That was at the peak. It doubled in price.
That's nuts.
It's coming back down now. It's like it got up to like $620 something or $630.
What's the normal?
2x4 by 8.
2x4?
Usually it was like a 2x4 by 8 feet. Usually it was like as low as like 230. I've seen it, or 250.
Way more than doubled.
More than doubled.
Yeah.
But even 320 is not like absurd
Right
for
now
a 2x4 by 8.
It's 3.
No, right now it's like 427. So it's come back down a bit. That was last time I checked. The time before I checked that, it was like 540 or something like that. So it's slowly coming down.
Well, and then you want to get this basement, the basement.
Yeah, I got to get the basement done.
and then you're out.
I got to finish up the upstairs too, though.
Oh yeah, that's just
We
some
kinda
small
made-
stuff probably.
We remodeled the upstairs when we first moved in just to be livable because it was pretty bad when we bought it.
I mean, it's not
But
that
I wanna
much
do it-
that you have to do upstairs, do you?
Well, I'm going to replace the cabinets
okay.
because they were used older cabinets, but they were much better than the cabinets that were originally in there. I want to replace them with actually nice cabinets, make the kitchen actually nice where it's worth every
And
penny
then
that they pay.
out.
You know? Yeah, then we're out of here.
It's gonna be nice to have you guys closer, and even doing nights like this is gonna be way easier.
Oh yeah, yeah. Podcasting's kind of hard right now.
I gotta drive it like an hour almost.
Yeah,
To come out
every time.
Every
You
time.
and Alex,
Alex.
and almost everyone that comes on.
Yeah. So having you closer is just gonna be so. It's just, hey, let's do it.
Thus far, yeah.
Hey, quick, no problem. 10, 15, 5, depending on where you guys will be. But
Yeah.
5 minutes.
The other difficult thing right now with this house is obviously the kids are upstairs, and I'm sure, as you guys can all hear on the podcast or have heard since we started, our youngest one has been screaming this whole time. So
Wait,
sorry about that.
how were the kids? Were the kids kind of making noise on your last episode of Brandon?
No, the one before that.
Okay,
With Brandon,
because I
his
listened with Brandon and it was good.
Well, his kids came too, and they were outside the whole time. That's why.
Oh, okay. By the way, I didn't tell you this, but I listened to it. I liked it. It was a good conversation.
It was really good.
It was awesome.
That
I really liked that one.
See, that's what I've gotten a lot about that particular episode. People love it. I got a lot of really good feedback
It
on
was
that
just
episode.
good conversation.
Yeah, and he brings an amazing balance to, first off, me and my ideas, and
What a good pastor.
yeah, and he likes to play devil's advocate too, and
Yeah.
he's aware of what the counter argument is.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you listen to the podcast, you can tell he's like, well, and the other side would say X, Y, Z, and then you're like, but I say,
Yeah.
so like he always brings that in, which is good.
If you would know any better, you might say, is he a liberal? But he's a complete opposite.
Yeah, no, he's complete opposite.
Shout out to you, Brandon.
But that's like perfect for this, and I've been trying to get him to co-host with me and with us since the beginning, since before the podcast even began. But he'll eventually be a co-host.
Eventually.
I know he will.
Hey, but kind of just something I wanted to, Brandon.
Yeah, gosh, Brandon.
You fire-breathing redhead.
We always mess around. Fire breathing
love
redhead.
that guy.
That's hilarious.
Anyways, something that I mean, obviously, this is just how I see things, man. If you're in the city, try to get out. This is the time, man.
Oh yeah.
This is the time. Like,
Heck yeah.
like sell high and bounce. Because who knows how much.
Because
more-
we can sell high right now.
Yeah. Who knows how much more time there is, before, hopefully, and from what I've been hearing, Trump's going to come out with some solid evidence. I think he was going to do it today. I haven't looked into it, but I know Rudy Giuliani said that basically, no. Alan Dershowitz, which he's a Harvard law professor, if I'm not mistaken, he said that Trump has a big chance of winning in Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah, like in court. So I don't know what that would.
Do you have
entail.
much update on stuff that's going on with that? Because I haven't really been keeping up with it. I've been
I
busy
honestly
trying to.
haven't really been keeping up myself.
I've been busy trying to fix up my house so I can get out of here.
Yeah. All I know, I mean, here and there, I'll look into it. I just know that one thing that we have to do is pray.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a legal battle, and it's a political, cultural, legal battle, but like that's under the umbrella of the spiritual warfare and the spiritual battle that's going on, you know?
Yeah.
It's a spiritual battle more than anything.
It always, if you ever stand back and look at it from how they say, from like a bird's eye view, it's always a spiritual battle. And then you can get into the weeds, so to speak, come down to earth level, and then, you know, see all the little things going on.
Yeah.
Which it is important, if you can, to keep a good picture. I can't think of the word exactly, but like the
big picture type thing, or
to keep like an all-inclusive picture, so to speak. So have an idea of the big picture, and then have an idea of, like, you know, mid-size, so to speak. What's kind of like the kind of long-term in the weeds game plan, like something we're going to touch on: global reset, globalization, blah blah. And then what's like the short-term stuff? What's happening right now? Like, what are we dealing with in the day-to-day that's pushing towards that smaller, mid-size agenda, which in turn is pushing towards the big picture agenda.
And that's literally what's happening. Like, obviously, I believe COVID's, like, the disease and the virus is real. I had it, you had it. Like, it's obviously real, but it's a tool, and it's a tool that's being used by them. By the elites, so to speak, you know, by the globalists.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter what your views are on, is COVID real, is it not? Was it intended to be spread or not?
That's irrelevant, really, because it's being used now.
That's a small picture. That's a small picture, so to speak, view on however you want to figure that part out. We kind of talked a little bit about that, but now we're talking about like the mid picture, so to speak, view. You know, now that COVID is here, what's their purpose? I know we've mentioned it multiple times, of not letting a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah.
What's their mid-picture view in regards to that?
COVID is just it's just the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it's like masks I sent you a video with the places where they implemented masks. I don't know if you saw it. It was on Instagram. This guy was like looking at places where they implemented masks, you know, he was looking at a graph of like the cases and whatnot. And they would implement the masks like right as cases were going down, or when cases would be like already flatlined, like it's already kind of flatlined, you know? And then, you know, they have the mask mandate, and then suddenly there's a surge in cases. And like Sweden, Denmark, places where they didn't implement any mandate or no masks, or just kept normal life. It's just, if you look at those countries with the cases, it's like kind of like a flat. Yeah. It'll
mask required.
Yeah, right before the huge spike. France requires it as it's like a flat line there.
As it's flatlined, and then all of a sudden, massive spike. Belgium,
while it's down, and then there's a huge surge, you know, so obviously
that's crazy.
Like, do masks work? Probably
I mean,
not.
look at Germany. The line was coming down, and then masks were implemented when it was almost back down. Well, it was like a third of the way left.
And then they probably say, look, it's working.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Austria.
Look, so go to that.
Same thing.
Go back. Right here. So the black lines are masks required. Look, they're all surging up, you know?
Yeah, and then red is no mask required.
And they're like way lower.
No mask required is like not even, there's no spikes at all, no mask required.
They're the lowest out of all those on the graph. You know?
Dude, I mean, I think most people listening to this, everyone's back in lockdowns.
Yeah.
Everyone.
They're doing lockdowns again.
I mean, I talked to Julia, our cousin's daughter.
Second cousin. First cousin once removed. Yeah. Whatever.
Out in Austria. Shout out to you, Julia.
And Monty.
If you're listening in, Monty. She was saying today, I commented on one of her stories about, it was just a business thing. She was just like, she's always thought about doing something. I'm like, yeah, go for it. And we chatted a little bit. She was saying that they're back in lockdowns over there, and like the police patrol the streets at night.
No way.
Yeah, and you get massive fine if you are out.
Bro, that's
without like a real
like people
reason to be
people
out.
are so blind right now.
Yeah.
That's literally 1984 George Orwell stuff, like
I
what you see in the movies.
Like, hold on, let me see.
And people are just accepting it for their safety, you know?
Yeah, and then I wrote to her. It was here on Instagram. I wrote to her and I said, I was like, sounds like Nazi times.
Oh, I heard.
She said it's not that bad, just
Yeah.
kind of putting that out there, but that's just kind of dealing with COVID stuff. Yeah.
I think I sent you something too about in California what they want to do. Scroll up a bit. Yeah, down there. Government Newsom health officials considering statewide curfew for California. So right now this is ABC News. So right now they're looking and reviewing studies from across the country to determine if a curfew would mitigate the spread. Like, what the heck? How is a curfew gonna?
Yeah.
I mean, if there's no curfew the whole day and then like let's say it's a curfew at like 8 at night or I don't know, like what's that gonna stop? But then the rest of the day people are interacting, going to stores and like it's all about control.
It's kind of like that thing where also in California they were saying that to not hang out more than 2 hours.
Yeah,
that you were saying.
Yeah.
The last time when Alex was on, we were talking about.
In Chicago, there, the mayor Lori Lightfoot. Man, they got to vote that woman out.
She's nuts.
But she was out like celebrating Joe Biden's win with like a big crowd, you know, everyone around. Next thing you know, she then announces a lockdown starting Monday. I think it was this Monday, so yesterday. And to no Thanksgiving, you know, not celebrating Thanksgiving, the holidays, whatever, new lockdowns, all that. But for celebrating Joe Biden's win, that's fine. You can go out, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing else, though. After we do that, then we're going to lock down.
Yeah.
You know?
It's ridiculous.
And, again, Joe Biden's win, who knows, man? All I know, dude, is that we're literally like, we're at a crossroads in this country, you know?
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's like, and one of our uncles, you know, he kind of said this too. He's like, and I kind of said the same thing. If Biden will take it, you know, and if it's in God's plan and Biden takes this, and you know, all these efforts from the Trump administration don't lead to anything, you know.
Yeah.
We have to await ourselves. We have to wait for and expect growing persecution.
Yeah.
Against the church, especially.
Yeah, I mean,
like
that's
it's basically over, and like there's liberty is gone as we know it. Free speech is gone as we know it. You know, under Trump, that flame of liberty and free speech and the Constitution still stands. You know, so if Trump comes out on top, you know, hopefully he does. We're praying for it, and that's another potentially 4 years of liberty, of freedom of religion, freedom of speech. Even though culturally all those things are crumbling, you know.
Yeah. But
that's maybe 4 years. You know, Trump is just putting on the brakes and giving us a little bit more time. And I was saying. I was telling people that if God allows, and it's in his plan for Trump to come out, and I personally believe he will, I see that as a time of preparation for the church. Like, I don't see that as a time of like, oh yeah, freedom. Dude, what's coming is, we don't even realize what's coming.
Yeah, somebody posted something like that, like I forget who posted it, but somebody posted, one of my friends posted it, shout out to you.
You know who
I don't know.
Maybe.
You know who you are?
Maybe you're not listening.
He wrote the inevitable is coming.
Yeah.
Regardless of the only thing that matters is when.
Yeah.
The thing is, we know the end of the story.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
We know the end of the story. We know who wins, which is the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we know what side we're on.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of when.
Bro, it's like looking at this, like I really do hope there's another 4 years.
Yeah.
You know, obviously that's going to be a time of preparation for the church and God's going to do his work. But it's also time that we can also enjoy a little bit more time of liberty, freedom of religion, time with family, you know, hopefully economic prosperity, however it'll be, at least a few more years. But the best is over, I think. The best is over.
Yeah.
Like just culturally, things are crumbling, man.
Even from a non-faith or spiritual point of view, it's the way things were are not going to be. It's not going to go back to
People
how it
see
was.
that.
And I know, like Joe Rogan mentioned in one of his not Joe Rogan, one of his guests mentioned, he's like, I just want America to go back to how America was. And he's like, yeah, me too. But that's not happening.
That's gone, bro. And isn't it interesting?
And that's the main. If you see the big picture and that middle picture I was talking to you about before you get into the weeds, kind of like what's the long-term earthly game plan, you know that things aren't going back to the way they used to be.
No.
If you see that game plan.
Isn't it interesting how during this time, God put Trump during this time.
Yeah.
Like he put a man that would be a sign.
Yeah.
For the church and for the world. Mm-hmm. And
kind of like a light in the darkness.
Yeah.
To kind of like wake people up.
And
not to say he's perfect or he's like the image that we need to represent.
Not.
No. But as like a blinking light, like, hey, I'm trying to get your attention.
Yeah. I think that's God speaking.
Yeah. God saying, hey, I'm trying to get your attention.
Hey.
To the world and especially to America.
Yeah. Like through Trump, all of this evil and because of Trump and him being there, all this evil and all these lies are coming to the surface. Like even with the election frauds, it's all coming out.
Yeah.
The truth is being unveiled.
Yeah.
You know, so that the people see.
Like our cousin from Canada, shout out to Feeney. The truth will set you free.
Yeah. But and it's so interesting. Trump's like family roots, like from I think it's from where his mother. He's
Scotland,
from Ireland or Scotland,
or Ireland, somewhere up there. Yeah, I think it's Scotland.
His family actually comes from the great a big revival over there.
Yeah,
and he has one of the there was a big
the Bible or something like that, or the Bible in the Oval Office or something like that.
There was a video going around circulating. That's so interesting, and that God has ordained him at this time.
Yeah.
Like who no one would have guessed that.
Here's another pointer as to like how can you know God appointed him or is using him to, look at from a Christian's perspective. Look at this country's evil side, the darkness side, and look how they're reacting to him.
Yeah.
That's how Satan and his legion reacts to God. Whenever God makes a move, they flip out because he just squashed one of their plans, and now they have to come up with another plan, and then they get all pissed off, and now we have to come up with a new plan, and we have to get rid of him at all costs, and we gotta.
That also shows me whose side Trump is on.
Right. Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, how can you know that God's using Trump? Well, look at the other side.
Right.
And I'm not saying the other side politically. I'm saying the other side
spiritually.
Who's reacting to him? And what are their views and
who are they led by?
What are their values?
Yeah.
Like pro-abortion, like murdering babies. They don't even care if they're just been born.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Burning down cities.
Rioting,
cities. Violence.
Yeah.
Just evil and hatred. Vile hatred.
Destroying people's livelihoods.
Yeah. They don't care.
Trying to push a welfare system on people, aka socialism. Which is just going to
enslave people
and put them in a mental enslavement and an actual physical enslavement to the system.
Yeah.
Having to pay in all the time.
Bro, I was just thinking the past couple of days, like, and I mentioned this to you a little bit yesterday too. It's like there's almost I don't really see hope. I have no more hope for Earth.
You can't.
I don't.
In the big picture, I agree with you.
Yeah, like I said, maybe a few years.
In the big picture, but you can't.
Maybe we have a few years.
I think, in my opinion, you can't live with no hope, though.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying with no hope, but I'm saying here on Earth, like I don't see a long-term hope.
Oh yeah,
I don't see a future here.
I'm saying here on Earth too. You can't live with no hope necessarily, because I'm not claiming that God's coming soon, and He may, and we always have to be ready at all times for when Jesus comes to take His church. But we don't know when He's coming. Do a lot of the signs point to Him coming? Yes.
Yeah.
Did the apostles believe He was coming in their lifetime?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're not sure He's coming in our lifetime. Do we want Him to? Yeah. Do I want to make it to heaven sooner rather than later? Yeah. But with that being said, like, I think you should still have like that fighting spirit.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Still have that hope that we can still do something. Because what happens when the entire church ends up saying, okay, we've lost hope for America? Then America gives in to the other side.
Well,
you know,
I was referring more to like earthly sense. Like, okay, let's say I want to make a whole bunch of money and that's my goal. Like that would be such a foolish goal right now. Like, I understand, like, you have to make money, you have to provide, like, you should do that, but that shouldn't be your goal. Like, that's so, like, secondary in my perspective right now. Because it's like, okay, let's say I do that, but this great reset is going to come in I don't know how many years. They're saying, like, the 2030 agenda, like, you know, who knows? I don't know how many years, but it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy plan. Like, I actually just ordered Klaus Schwab's book, and he's the guy who runs the World Economic Forum, WEF. And they get together, like, I think once a year and stuff, like big global leaders and stuff, and discuss global issues and global problems. And, well, he straight out wrote a book called COVID-19, The Global Reset, or something like that. And COVID-19 is basically the catalyst to this. Like, he's saying, I only read like a little bit of the summary or some reviews off Amazon, but he's basically saying that COVID-19 just exposed weaknesses within the systems, and economic and cultural and healthcare and all these things. And there's a need for a global reset, like start from zero. That means they want to crash the global economy. They want to bring America to its knees, because if America is still strong economically and has freedom, why would people want a global reset?
Yeah.
Like that's the place to be. Like, it's good here. But if it's not good here and things crashed and culturally and it's like chaos and jungle here, yeah, people are going to want a global reset. Like, the people will want it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and in my eyes, this global reset thing is the Antichrist system. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a global thing.
Yeah.
It's the Antichrist system, you know?
The bringing on of it, for sure. Because ultimately, he's the world leader that's going to provide peace to the world, right?
Yeah.
How did they do that? By a global system.
Yeah. So,
I mean, here's their website, the World Economic Forum.
And it's right, like the global reset, the Great Reset.
Great Reset.
Yeah.
It's right on the front page.
And then you can scroll down. And
it's not, I'm not even going to accept the cookies. I don't want to be tried.
Dude, I saw the book and it had like bad reviews because everyone they put a bad review because
they hate the idea.
They hate the idea and stuff. They see through it. But I was like, I gotta buy it. This is like the Mein Kampf of today. You know, Mein Kampf is Hitler's book.
Yeah.
Called My Struggle. And in his book, he wrote like all of his plans, but no one read it.
Right. Not to call this guy the next Hitler, but just like the idea or the plan behind the World Economic Forum and what their ideology is.
This guy, Klaus Schwab, he's older. I don't know. He's in his 70s, probably 70s.
Klaus, huh?
Klaus Schwab. I think he's from Switzerland or something. I think he's some rich banker or something. He's a globalist.
If he's from Switzerland, he's a rich banker.
But I definitely don't think he's like gonna be the world leader or anything. I think he's just part of the council. the of the globalists. You know, he's part of that system and part of the plan.
There's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequence of the COVID-19 crisis. To improve the state of the World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative. Dude, that alone sounds...
Yeah.
They're
basically telling you right there, COVID-19 is why we're doing this.
Yeah,
Obviously, they want to do it regardless, but there has to be an excuse for it. So it's COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one's going to accept it, but, it's COVID. Dude, I just read today, Fauci said, even with vaccines...
You still have to wear a mask.
Yeah, and social distance. And they're like, it's just going to be until at the beginning. We're just going to lock down until our hospitals get the resources necessary, then we'll open up. It's just for a bit. You see how it's dragging out? It's a plan.
Oh, yeah.
They're fooling and deceiving the people, bro. And people are eating it up, a lot of them.
And that's the worst of it. The people are just eating it up. They're just like, yeah, okay, we'll believe you. Why? Yeah. Why should I even get the vaccine if I still have to wear a mask?
I know.
I told Dad that today. He's like, well, they can, he's like, I'll donate my vaccine to Fauci and Bill Gates. I'm like, yeah, they can have mine too.
Another thing Fauci said is that America's spirit, search it up. Fauci, American spirit or something like that. Oh, right here. The second one. Fauci says U.S. has independent spirit, but now is the time to do what you're told. That's direct.
Yeah, he can go shove it. That's what he can do.
Absolutely. There's this
America's not doing what they're told. This is something that
America does have an independent spirit. I agree.
Oh, for sure. I listened to
for freedom.
Some guys at Sky
News,
Australia.
Yeah, Sky News in Australia. They're better than all this news.
And they were talking about one of the people on there. They had a panel and they were talking about how, like, in Australia, people just listen to what they're told, and that you can see that across a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Like even in Austria, for example, like Julia was telling us, or if stuff like that was happening here in America, people would be probably grabbing arms against the government.
If there was patrolling of the streets?
Yeah.
That's unheard of here.
Dude, I'm saying
mass rioting and stuff.
Think about what would America do if that was happening.
Yeah. There would be backlash.
There would definitely be at least a class, like almost half the population that would completely resist that. Obviously, there's sheep here too.
Yeah,
that just follow orders. Yeah. But I definitely agree with that. America has an independent spirit.
That is scary though.
But now's the time for Americans to listen. Yeah, no,
dude. Fauci. Do you know? What someone told Dad a dream they had about Fauci. And they saw like Trump and they saw Fauci beside him and Fauci was a rat.
Yeah, he is.
He's a little rodent, bro.
He even looks like one.
Yeah. He's got...
Hence why in the dream he turned out to be a rat.
Well, even Fauci said... I think it was Fauci that said that. This is like before Trump was put as president, maybe 2015, maybe 2016. I think he might have been elected. Or maybe it was during his presidency. Early presidency, Fauci said this administration is going to have to deal with a pandemic.
Yeah, that was during Trump's presidency.
Bro, this makes me think like
that happened in 2017.
This stuff is set up.
Yeah,
COVID was released on purpose, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with that. That's my opinion too.
And Mr. Fauci, people are putting him as a hero. This guy's a little rodent.
Here's the thing about Fauci.
There's a demon behind him, bro.
Here's the thing about Fauci. Fauci was in on this whole COVID thing.
Absolutely.
They had this COVID strain here in America.
In North Carolina, I believe.
Yeah.
In one
of the CDC labs over there.
Yeah.
And they were testing on it. And the government told Fauci to shut it down. It's too dangerous. But this rodent didn't shut it down. Oh, he did to a degree.
He moved it.
Yeah.
Wuhan.
To Wuhan, China.
Yep.
And they tested there. You think China cares? Heck no.
No.
They're like, yeah, we're good. Sure, let's test it. Let's mess with it.
Trump. Do you know what Trump called Fauci one time
To
the media? He's like, Fauci's an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, he is. He
Yeah.
is. I don't care. Yeah, he might be intellectual. He talks all smart, and he might.
And
I'm sure he knows a lot about this
his
stuff.
But what he's doing is planned. It's not like he's not dumb. Like, he's not actually dumb.
Right.
He's doing these things with purpose.
He's a genius to a certain degree because everyone's listening to him.
Yeah.
In that degree, he's a genius. But in
Trump,
our views,
Trump
in
is
regards,
more of a genius because he stopped listening to him.
100%.
Yeah.
Trump, like I was telling in the one episode, he catches all the BSers, like the LEG show.
Yeah.
He figures them out.
He doesn't even.
Sometimes it takes a little longer because these people are acting real genuine, more genuine and real than LEG, for example.
Yeah. But at the beginning with COVID, you had no idea.
Right.
You know?
We were all like, even when the lockdown started happening, I was like, okay, well, this is real.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stop work for a little bit, even though I'm working in an apartment, a vacant apartment.
Because you have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, at the
and
beginning,
so we're like, let's see what's going on.
I think that's safe. You're being cautious, you
Yeah.
know, but as you know, information came in and people
all of America was on board with it. Nobody
Yeah.
complained. Everyone's like, okay, let's see what's going on.
Let's take a time. Let's see what's going on. Let's investigate. Let's
and then
research
a
this.
month in, people are like, okay, maybe still what's going on? Starting to like question things.
Couple months in, it was like, all right.
After a couple,
It's
like
done.
3 months in, it's like, okay, this is a bunch of BS. Like, a bunch of people had it already. Most people are fine. Death
Yeah.
rate's real low, especially once they started figuring out
How to treat and stuff.
yeah, all the therapies and the treatments. Yeah, there's no need for lockdowns anymore. And now we're going to go and stay in lockdowns and masks even after vaccines.
Social distancing, masks still necessary after getting COVID-19 vaccine. Fauci, New York Post. Go down. I would recommend to people not to abandon all public health measures just because you've been vaccinated, he told CNN's anchor Jake Tapper. Because even though for the general population it might be 90 to 95% effective, you don't necessarily know for you how effective it is. Wow.
Why do I need to rely on someone else to tell me how risky to live my life?
Yeah.
Americans, for sure, and I'm sure a lot of people around the world don't rely on other people to tell them how risky to live their lives. Like, there's people that go that, you know, whatever, like the paragliding.
Paragliding or something? Yeah.
Or not paragliding, where they're wearing like the wingsuits.
Like the bat suit or something. Yeah.
Why isn't that banned? Like, that's more dangerous than COVID.
Yeah.
Okay, that's only dangerous for you, not for people around you. Okay, but what if I influence a bunch of people to do it?
What about driving?
Yeah, what about driving? That's a perfect one.
That's dangerous for people around me too, and for me.
And you don't even need to be drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 10 times, 100 times worse when you're drunk.
Yeah.
For people who drink and drive, don't do it.
I wouldn't know. Legit.
Definitely not saying to, you know, but driving, you're more likely to get killed by a shark swimming in the ocean than to die of COVID.
That's crazy, man.
Yet, we're destroying our country and our own livelihoods by listening to these morons that are telling us and trying to mitigate our risk for us. I don't need that.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
They want to destroy the country.
Right.
They want to destroy freedom, economics, prosperity.
And
they want
that
to
makes
subjugate the people, man.
That makes all the sense in regards to the Great Reset.
Go down a bit. Let's reach.
They don't
the
actually
context.
care about you and your health and your risk.
Oh,
They just want you to kneel,
do what you're told
before them.
Like Fauci said.
Do what you're told, and so that they can bring in this new global reset.
Yeah. Over here it says the COVID-19 crisis and the political, economic, and social disruptions it has caused is fundamentally changing the traditional context for decision making. The inconsistencies, inadequacies, and contradictions of multiple systems from health and financial to energy and education are more exposed than ever amidst the global context of concern for lives, livelihoods, and the planet. Leaders find themselves at a historic crossroads, managing short-term pressures against medium and long-term certainties.
Subtitle: The Opportunity. And then here goes this
Read that
little
one.
description.
Let's see what it says there.
As we enter the unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economics, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of a global commons. Drawing from the vision and vast expertise of the leaders engaged across the forum's communities, the Great Reset Initiative has a set of
dimensions
to build a new social contract that honors the dignity of every human being.
Oh, it sounds good.
Wow, they honor the dignity of every human being.
They could care less about
wow. Dude, they care so much about us.
Go down. Let's see some more stuff.
We need to give them our lives.
Go more down.
Our contribution. The World Economic Forum has developed a reputation as a trusted platform for informed collaborations and cooperation between all stakeholders.
Which are the elites, probably.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah.
People with money.
Between all
and
stakeholders,
power.
Yeah, not the people. They could care less about the people.
Reinforced by a track record of success over 5 decades, the forum now offers its experience in building purpose-driven communities in service of the extraordinary challenge and opportunity the world faces for a great reset, quote unquote. The forum provides an unparalleled platform for creating, shaping, and delivering collaborative solutions for the future through its status as the International Organization for Public-Private Cooperation, hub for cutting-edge ideas, expertise, and knowledge resource tools, leadership in enabling stakeholders, capitalism, and delivering solutions to global challenges. Capitalism for them, socialism for us.
It says over there,
a hub for cutting-edge ideas, expertise, and knowledge resource tools. Sounds like you have to get everything approved by them.
It says over there, and an opportunity the world faces for a great reset. It's an opportunity.
Yeah. So take advantage of it while you can.
Let's see some other stuff down. Those are just articles. Yeah, you could probably read some articles and get deeper into that. But I remember when we were like back living in Canada and stuff, we were like listening to Alex Jones and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm. We were just getting into the quote unquote conspiracy stuff.
And he's been talking about this for decades.
Globalization, yeah.
And this great reset and what they want to do in their plan, and people thought he was crazy, and stuff that he said eventually led up to it.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't sound that crazy anymore. Like he was just on Tim Pool. Mm-hmm. It was taken down off of YouTube.
Because Tim Pool said he would have him on. Shoot, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, but the only way you can watch it is going on BitChute. BitChute. BitChute.
I'll pull it up for those of you that want to see it. Just the site.
Just put Alex Jones, Tim Pool, BitChute or something like that.
I'll just pull up the BitChute thing.
Yeah,
and then people can search it on there.
It's like 3 hours long or something. But I didn't finish watching it, but he started getting into this whole Great Reset stuff, and they're like, whoa, Tim Pool's like, oh, we gotta fact check you, blah blah, and all the stuff that he's saying is true, you know.
Yeah.
So like, oh, yeah.
Well, that's what happened on Alex Jones too.
Oh, so it's like, oh, maybe this guy isn't that as crazy as we thought, you know. I think I found it on Google. I just Googled it.
Yeah, but you can find it there. I'm sure you can.
Or DuckDuckGo.
I'm sure you can find it on Alex Jones' video site, band.tv or band.video or something like that.
He might have it, sure. But
just Google it, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, and as we were starting to get into this stuff from back when we were in Canada, we started hearing about this stuff then, and people were saying that these ideas were crazy that they'll never happen. You guys are crazy for believing it.
If you think about it, bro, everything that, I mean, from our memory and from what we lived through, everything that's happened were just steps towards this.
Exactly.
Like 9/11. It's all a step.
It was a step, yeah. That was a in the weeds thing that was working towards the middle picture.
Like that.
And I'm going to keep talking about the middle picture as this so-called Great Reset, which you can also use the words globalization for it.
Yeah.
One world order, the new world order,
one
government, the Antichrist government,
the Antichrist system.
whatever you guys want to call it. And everything's been a step towards there. For example, here was a conspiracy everyone laughed about. And okay, yeah, you can laugh about it, sure. There's nothing wrong about laughing about things that might be kind of scary to some people.
Yeah.
Or some people thought it was crazy. Again, it's like the Illuminati
There's an
and
elite and stuff of the world.
and they're doing like TV programming, and they're putting it in our music and in our videos. But all that was what's that called? Conditioning your mind.
Conditioning your mind. It's not like robotic programming.
Right.
Programming refers to just conditioning your mind.
Like we've talked about in the past on this
Like
this
just
podcast.
being
It's not.
used to
Yeah.
homosexuality now. Like the culture now
become
accepts
normal.
it. It's become normal. But
That's
20 years ago
because
wasn't.
our society
Yeah.
was conditioned into accepting it.
Yeah.
Like they have conditioned or are in progress of conditioning us for superheroes and alien invasions. That's been a huge move in regards to at least the movie portions, and been a lot of shows coming out like that about that happening now.
Interesting. Bro,
Very interesting.
we should do an episode.
What's the mid picture, or at least the small picture there? You know?
We should do an episode on
How does that point to the big
Genesis
picture?
6.
Yeah, we
Nephilim.
do. We will.
That stuff's interesting.
We're
I've
definitely
always been
talking about
intrigued with that stuff. Because you know Lazar Gog, the pastor in
Romanian pastor in
California. Yeah, like
Sacramento, I think.
He's very studied and he's big time on like the end time studying and whatnot. He was saying that the COVID-19 vaccine, or what could, because COVID-19 vaccine might not be like the beast, the number of the beast or whatever, right? I mean, I'm not going to say that. But what would lead up to that could be like, he said, and you can look this up, and in the episode that we'll do, we'll probably pull stuff up and we'll get actual more detail into this. But they found like bones and skeletons of giants from, like, you know how the Bible says that there were giants in those days. Well, he found like bones, and you can extract DNA from those bones, from the giants that they found, you know?
Probably from like the marrow.
Yeah,
The bone marrow or
I don't know
something?
exactly how, but there's still DNA in there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying it could be a possibility that they would use the DNA from those giants,
Mm-hmm.
which come from the fallen angels, Genesis 6.
Mm-hmm.
And how that happened, obviously we can discuss that when we do that episode or whatever.
Yeah.
But that could be part of the Antichrist system, because then there's a demonic aspect to it, because it says
for sure.
whoever will accept the number cannot be saved.
Right.
Like, it's, you accept it and you're done.
Right.
There's no hope for you.
And that's my argument. Like, I have a thing with the mark of the beast. A lot of people talk about it being a computer chip. I don't personally believe it is, but we'll talk about that when we get to that point.
It
but
probably involves that as well, even though
that may be something
it has
that
to involve that as well, because they track you, they whatever.
yeah, but they can track you right now through your phone.
Yeah, but you can throw your phone away.
I know, but regardless, what makes the most sense is this chipped vaccine that Bill Gates talks about. But back to that whole Nephilim thing with the DNA extraction. That's very interesting, because, like, I have a theory in regards to the whole Nephilim and who they are now, and This will be an episode. Oh, I can't wait to do that episode already.
We got to do that.
Like I'm about to start talking about it now, but I
really
can't.
like that topic.
We definitely need to talk about it. But here's another weird thing in regards to the whole like alien thing, the conditioning of the whole alien thing. I know that's been a big spike in popularity, and I think there's some states. I know
the alien thing,
or not necessarily the alien thing, but it's kind of a little bit. I'm tying it in with the alien thing.
Okay.
Because of what my theory is on who the aliens are. Because I don't believe there's actually like aliens in a universe.
You believe that they're demons?
Yeah, I believe alien entities are actually demonic beings in a temporary body.
Yeah. Okay.
I do believe aliens exist, but that's who I believe they are. They're just temporary bodies to house these demonic beings.
And people
who are
identify
not,
them as aliens.
right. And they are temporary bodies. So like these bodies these aliens have aren't lasting.
Okay.
That's my opinion. They're a temporary type body because originally God eliminated them back in through the flood. These the Nephilim,
the giants,
and so we'll get into that on that episode. In which it sounds like we have to do that soon.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's an awesome one.
Back to what I was saying. I know Oregon for sure. I think some other states. We'll have to look it up. Legalized. Definitely psychedelics. Okay. I think there was multiple states that did psychedelics.
DMT, that stuff.
DMT, ayahuasca, some of this other stuff that like Joe Rogan talks about doing. And then Oregon went a step further and legalized even like hard drugs.
And that's opening the portal.
Yeah. But DMT and ayahuasca and these things, it's really interesting how these people talk about their experiences with it. I was first hearing about it, I was super intrigued.
Not to try it. But
no, to the point of trying.
Oh, wow.
I was so intrigued to the point of trying.
Time.
It is. I'm serious.
You were tempted.
Because the way everyone explained it, they talked about.
Like you wondered how it is.
It was a very temporary, it wasn't even a high. It was like, it lasted like 5-10 minutes here on this earth, in this reality, in this world. It was 5-10 minutes. And after that 5-10 minutes, life was back to normal. But during that 5-10 minutes, you weren't here.
It felt like
you're in a different realm.
A different.
You enter the spiritual realm. That's what happened. I'm talking about my opinions here now. You enter the spiritual realm with the DMT because, and here's why I have that opinion. Our bodies naturally produce DMT.
Okay.
When we dream at night, that's DMT in our system.
Let's fact check that really quick.
Okay.
Just so, like, do our bodies.
Do our bodies naturally produce DMT? And there's tons of plants and certain trees out there that produce it.
DMT is naturally occurring in small amounts in rat brain, human cerebrospinal fluid, and other tissues of humans and other mammals. Okay.
So we do produce DMT naturally. It's just in small amounts. When you get a large amount, it's like you're going into an insane dream for a very long time.
That's this probably has something to do with dreaming too then, right?
Yeah.
Like when we dream, it's because of our bodies
produce the DMT in our body naturally. Okay.
Interesting.
My opinion also, I think DMT is like a gateway into the spiritual realm. God put it in us to be able to maybe speak to us.
Well, it says that God speaks through dreams as well.
Yeah. Maybe when you have visions during the day, it scientifically activates DMT.
Maybe.
To be able to communicate in the spiritual realm.
It's super interesting.
Really interesting episode with Joe Rogan, Alex Jones. It was the episode that, what's his name was on there? Eddie Bravo.
Okay.
They talked about DMT, and Alex Jones said something that clicked with me after I'd been getting really interested in DMT. Thankfully, God brought that episode to my attention. Obviously, I'm really interested in Alex Jones anyway, but what Alex Jones said stopped my interest in DMT altogether in regards to trying it. When he said this, it clicked 100%. I'm like, that makes so much sense. I didn't understand this until he said it, that DMT is kind of like a portal into the spiritual realm. And when you open that portal yourself by doing DMT,
Oh, yeah.
you're opening the door to evil things coming into your life and taking you over.
Yeah.
Versus, and he said, if God wants to talk to you,
He'll open that.
he'll open it.
Yeah.
You don't go opening it. Which made so much sense to me. And then I started researching DMT experiences that people have had. And they all start out nice and good. And it's like, they all have super similar experiences. Like,
Quote unquote, the angel of lights. The angel of light, but they're demonic.
Yeah, they meet some woman and she's like really friendly and nice and
Probably beautiful.
yeah, and they like massage you and then they like take your body apart, but not in a painful way. It's just like a weird experiences where like you don't become human anymore. And now you're like this ball of energy some people have talked about. But
that sounds really new age, bro.
Yeah. But what's crazy is that some of them has started talking about, and they've been doing the DMT for a while, and they started talking about meeting this dark entity of like dark green and brown and black and just like
Dang.
evilness and death. And it's like the worst thing they can't even explain it in words in human form of how evil this thing is that they encounter. And they just get this sense of depression and evil in them during that point, during that experience. And that I heard that after I heard the whole thing with Alex Jones. And I'm like,
that makes sense.
yeah, not trying DMT.
Well, you see, like God put the things in our body, specifically a certain amount that you need, however much you need. Like,
to release only when he wants it to or whatever.
Exactly. Or, for sleeping or dreaming, because you dream from yourself too, and maybe that has something to do with DMT too. And when you try to play God and you want more of this,
you screw everything up.
You screw it all up.
Yeah.
And that is, another thing that I heard about DMT is that Joe Rogan, he said like him and, a bunch of people or a bunch of his friends took it or all at the same time, together. And they all saw the same thing. It wasn't unique experiences to each one. They all saw the same thing.
Oh, yeah. And even if you're taking it, like, I'm going to take it here and you're going to go, and you're going to go like, you're in Canada and I'm in America, you'll experience the same thing I experience. It doesn't matter where you are and it doesn't matter when you take it either. You experience very, like, all the same thing or very similar things. Like, they all talk about certain clowns or gestures or jokers that come.
But they, like, saw the same thing at the same time. Like, it wasn't, like, a little bit different because they were all there together. So I think that spiritual...
You enter that spiritual realm all together at once.
They were all there.
So you all see that one thing. Yeah,
so it wasn't, like, unique. Like, let's say you get high and you... hallucinate from your mind. This seemed like it was something spiritual, even though that would be a spiritual aspect too, because if you're getting high and stuff, you have demonic influences in your life.
And that's the same thing about the ayahuasca. They were saying at these shaman retreats in like Peru and these areas, they have ayahuasca.
Is that kind of the same thing as DMT or what?
It's basically the same thing. Some people say it's stronger than DMT. But they were talking about the same thing, like everyone's seeing the exact same thing when they do it at the same time.
You know what they call that? Because it comes from the pineal gland, it says.
Yeah, the third eye.
The third eye, yeah. And that's very new agey.
Yeah, I mean, you see it. Yeah. I'm sure you've all seen like album covers or some picture from some famous musician.
Even Joe Rogan has on his forehead that third eye there.
Joe Rogan, yeah.
Which obviously is... That's...
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure I heard it from Joe Rogan's podcast. I'd have to go back and check. Don't take my word for it. But I heard it somewhere. I'm pretty sure it was his episode, though. They were talking about how a ton of the, like, societies, not elites, not necessarily elites, but like, basically like Silicon Valley geniuses or people inventing things or whatever, take this stuff. Certain scientists or leaders of the world do DMT as a form of therapy, maybe, because the idea behind the DMT is that it renews your mind to think in a different way, to be more inclusive. You care more about people. You're loving.
We're seeing a lot of that these days.
You want to bring the poor up, and that's not a bad thing, but the way they're talking about it,
collectively,
you want to create that welfare system. You want to bring in the socialism.
Through
you
force.
want to, and so that's not how they're describing it. We're adding our twist to it, but
but we're seeing similarities there.
Yeah, definitely seeing similarities there.
Maybe the same spiritual influences, demonic influences. There.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then so to hear that these leaders within a lot of companies or certain leaders maybe within government are being influenced by this, tells you a lot about why their mentalities are the way they are. And I'm not saying everyone who has the crazy hardcore left crazy mentality is influenced by DMT or whatever, but it was just interesting to hear that.
Talking about this and like the demonic aspect, I just watched a podcast / interview of it was a YouTube channel, Capturing Christianity. He interviewed a Catholic priest, an exorcist. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about like demonic possession and influence, and it was pretty interesting, man.
Yeah,
like some of the stuff that the priest was saying, and because it's so interesting. I think it's Luke 9:29, if I'm not mistaken. You can pull it up. Christ says there that if they're not, let's just read it. I think it's this one. No. Mark.
Anyway, what were we saying?
Anyways.
Mark? Or...
Okay, no, it's not that. But that is referring to the demonic. Mark 9:29. But there's a passage in Scripture where there's like a group of people. They're not Christ's disciples. Mm-hmm. But they're also casting out demons. Mm-hmm. And the disciples come to Jesus and they're like, should we stop them? Because they're not with us. And Jesus is like, if they're not against us, then they're for us. Let them continue. Because someone asked him, like, because there was questions and stuff. Do you believe as a Catholic that only you guys have the monopoly on exorcism and stuff, or does it have to be a Christian? Or and that verse is really interesting. As long as you believe and you call on the name of Jesus, even biblically, it seems like you can have victory over at least certain demonic spirits.
Yeah.
Some only come out by prayer and fasting.
Right.
But some can
But you can pray and fast without being a believer?
Yeah, I think you still need to have some level of faith. Like, maybe you're not a Christian. Right. But you heard of God, you've heard of Jesus, and then you're like, maybe you call in the name of Jesus.
Like you're dealing with something, you're like, maybe this is the whatever, and then,
So because I was like, okay, this guy's Catholic, but it seems like from his experiences, and obviously you can go and like fact check, if you want to use that word, like confirm, like go to the cases that he's had or whatever. Mm-hmm. It seems like they do actual exorcism,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was thinking about that. I was like, how do Catholics, because I know they have like very off, like heretical teachings and stuff. But looking at that verse, that makes sense. And not to say that not all Catholics or something are, I do believe that there are Catholics or Orthodox or something that are God-fearing. They try to live a holy and pure life. They might have wrong theology, and maybe God is with them,
Mark 9:38.
Okay.
Teacher, said John, we saw something driving out demons. We saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we told him to stop because he was not one of us. Do not stop him, Jesus said, for no one who does a miracle in my name can in the next moment say anything bad about me. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For whoever is not against us is for us. Truly, I tell you, anyone who gives you a cup of water in my name because you belong to the Messiah will certainly not lose their reward.
Yeah. So it says, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, you know?
In the name of Jesus.
And it says, for no one who does a miracle in my name can in the next moment say anything bad about me. That
is very interesting.
Like, you're going to talk trash on Jesus. Yeah,
because he just, I mean, not even just because he just did that, but at the awe of the fact that something so evil and powerful over humans can be scared and listen and run just by hearing the name Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Because clearly these people are not necessarily full-on Christians, Jesus-loving, tell the world about Jesus people. They're just using his name.
Yeah. And he says that he was not one of us. He was not one of the disciples.
Right.
Maybe they heard Jesus, they heard him preach. Thought, oh, let's try this. Maybe they weren't full-on followers. I don't know.
And see, that's kind of where I was. That's kind of. I'm glad this was brought up, that you brought this up, because this is the one episode we were talking about the gifts of the Spirit and that, where you don't necessarily need to be gifted.
But God can use you at certain moments.
Exactly.
To do certain and in signs or,
And in situations like this, where a lot of times, whatever you're dealing with usually is a demonic presence behind it, if it's something evil. And in the name of Jesus, you can cast it away.
Now, that might not be demonic possession. It could be just demonic influence.
Right.
Like there are, like, just people listening, there are differences with...
like, let's
in that.
use an... I'm not sure if this is the right word, arbitrary example, or like just a random example that may or may not have happened. I'm sure everyone deals with this, but like, for example, like my wife and I will argue, you know, right there, like I'm aware, maybe not in that exact moment, but a little bit after.
That you're not wrestling with flesh and blood?
Yeah, I'm not, like, it's not my wife that I'm upset at or should be angry at. Or for those of you who have other relationships,
there's a spirit trying to bring
there's
a division between you guys and strife. And
neither I nor her are possessed by a demonic spirit.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But there's this like influence or whisper, so to speak, like, hey, your husband, blah, 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 or hey, your wife, blah, blah,
taking
blah.
advantage of the flesh too. Like, maybe the pride of the ego of the flesh. Oh, I can't just not say anything back.
Right. And then that demonic spirit's like, you're going to take that?
Say that.
And then your mind, you're like,
this.
I'm not going to take that, in your mind, you know? And
Yeah.
you're like, and then you come back with a quick-witted answer, and then the other person gets mad because then nobody actually hears, but like, you get this mental thought of like, how dare he say that? And then drop something else.
Yeah.
There's that demonic influence. When you're aware of that, you can stop in that moment. And if you have the power, a lot of us sometimes
don't have the power.
Most of the time, don't have the power. We give in and we're angry. We stay angry. And then eventually we realize it later.
The important thing is to make up after that.
Right.
To ask forgiveness to whoever it was and to God.
Point I'm getting at is like in those moments, if you realize it and you're able to, you can tell those demons to leave in the name of Jesus, and they will. And usually it's happened, very rare that's happened to us, but usually, well, every time I've done it, we've stopped the argument at that point. We may still be upset,
but the argument stopped.
But the argument stopped.
You guys
and
are
eventually
both hit by a brick in the head, like, oh.
Yeah. And then the more I bring up, the more I talk about the idea of we're not fighting each other. It's Satan and his demons trying to get us to fight against one another. Like, we're not as focused on fighting each other anymore or arguing with each other anymore. We're starting to focus more on let's get closer and basically put if you guys watch like animes where they like, you put your beam together and it becomes stronger.
The Avatar.
Yeah. Let's bring our faith in Jesus and, pinpoint it towards Satan.
Unity.
Push him away. Exactly.
Are you trying to tell me unity is strong? You're stronger when you're united, or
that might be the right word.
Oh, okay.
That might be the right word.
Okay. That makes sense.
But it's that's something to keep in mind. Again, from here, like, you don't have to be some special who knows who shaman or some special prophet or whatever to
just put yourself in the disposition
supernatural
of God.
works. Yeah.
And one thing that popped out when you were telling me, like, that when you would go through those experiences, that you would realize, hey, maybe there's demonic influence trying to get us against each other, and then when you realize it stops.
Not just realize it, but Like
speak
even like
against
quietly
it,
in
or
even quietly, just like my wife doesn't get like, what the, I'm
Yeah.
just like, in the name of Jesus, I command you to leave.
yeah.
You have no place in my house.
I was just thinking, that seems like it's super important to know the strategies of Satan,
Yeah. And surprisingly, a lot of people don't know them.
to know his strategies, his tactics,
Yeah.
because Satan has been around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
He knows
And
how humans are.
as you stay aware of his strategies, and then you're able to, so to speak, come up with your own strategies against his strategies, even though they're not your own. Like, God's giving you these strategies. Like,
You get the strategies from Scripture, yeah.
God gave us basically, when this happens, do this.
Yeah.
In the Bible.
Quote, use the sword of the Spirit. Which is the word.
Most of us don't do it. And we just think we're just having a tough life, or
I agree, man.
our wife's just a bickering B word, some people will say.
Or your wife thinks that you're
or I'm
whatever,
a jerk,
you know?
a-hole, or whatever. Like, that's what most people think, and they just continue living life. And then some people give into the divorce, or even not that. Like, oh, my kids are annoying. I hate my kids.
Or your marriage sucks, or your kids are...
Or why is my kid always crying
Yeah.
and being annoying? Or why does work suck so much? Like, why does everyone at work suck? Or so many things.
Yeah.
So many things. But when you're aware of the strategies, and then you're aware of the weapons at your disposal, it's no fight.
Look, Ephesians 6, and I'm going to mention a verse after
Pun
this.
intended.
Yeah. After this, because I was actually looking at this verse on the way here. But Ephesians 6:10 says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil," or the tactics, the strategies, But one verse that I was looking at a lot on the way here was verse 16. It says, "In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one."
Yeah.
Like, just, that's the shield of faith. Like, faith is a shield.
Yeah.
Faith protects you. And I was like, okay, how does that work? Well, I have to believe in God. I have to believe that God will give me victory and help me fight. I have to believe
Otherwise,
that victory is on the way.
Otherwise, I won't use his name against what's...
Yeah. I have to believe in the power of his name.
Right. Otherwise, I won't use his name against whatever evil is coming against me at that time.
Yeah, it says...
If I don't believe.
It says, in all circumstances, take up the shield of faith.
Yeah.
In all circumstances, with which you can extinguish, again, the word all the flaming darts of the evil one.
Yeah.
Anything he throws at you. Because ultimately, he's trying to make you doubt. He's trying to destroy your faith. So that's why you need the shield of faith to, it's not coming here.
Yeah. And just like, so everyone's aware, like, I'm no special Christian.
Nor is anyone.
I haven't been
that I know of.
I can't say I've been like gifted with some sort of gift, or that I'm I figured some special thing out, or God's talked to me at night and told me blah blah, or I'm just normal like everyone else listening on this podcast and watching it.
You struggle with normal everyday things like everyone else struggles with.
And by this, what I'm trying to say is, use this stuff. Try it.
Use the name of Jesus, like the power. Not use. That's like a weird word to use, but that's
we'll use the weapon that Christ made and gave to your disposal.
Yeah, the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, the name of Jesus, which has power
and it might
authority.
be weird at first, like you're sitting in a room arguing with someone. Maybe it's your boss, and you're just quickly under your breath, and be like, "In the name of Jesus, I command you to stop." But just enough so it's like audible,
or it's like, I rebuke.
Because you can't,
like, what?
You can't say it in your mind because Satan can't read your mind.
Yeah.
So that's one caveat. Like
do you know what
Satan can't read your mind? So
do you know what's interesting? And this is important.
But try this stuff.
Yeah. Never mock Satan or evil spirits. Don't mock them.
Yeah.
That's biblical. Because it's in 2 Peter and in the Epistle of
Well,
Jude.
now we got to define mock. Is it mock like pretend to be them? Or is it mock like
making
fun of them?
Making fun of them, or speaking like
lightly about him.
Lightly about him and just like, oh, he's blah, blah, you know?
Because
It's not good biblically.
I'll have to confess that I did.
I mean,
I have.
We probably all have.
I've told Satan to
We probably all have, honestly.
not nice words off.
And he's probably like, yes, use that word.
Yeah, I know. I know.
2 Peter, and I know there's one in Jude too, but I'm going to try.
But
to find
I've
this one.
learned and I've grown from that point.
That's good.
I use a better word now.
Yeah.
It's a name called Jesus, and it actually
There you
works.
go. Yeah.
Satan, Jesus, out of here.
Let me find this one. If I don't find it in 2 Peter, I'm going to go to... Oh, right here. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 10. And especially those who indulge in the lust of defiling passion and despise authority, bold and willful, they do not tremble as they blaspheme the glorious ones, whereas angels, though greater in might and power, do not pronounce a blasphemous judgment against them before the Lord. So the angels of God don't pronounce, it says, don't blaspheme against people. 1 and 2 in Jude, it says they don't mock and blaspheme Satan. Let me get to Jude. Okay.
I'm just making sounds to fill in the podcast.
No, I was looking. From verse 8, Jude. Yet in like
Jude
manner, just one chapter. Jude verse 8. In like manner, these people also, relying on their dreams, defile the flesh, reject authority, and blaspheme the glorious ones. But when the archangel Michael, contending with the devil, was disputing about the body of Moses, he did not presume to pronounce a blasphemous judgment, but said, "The Lord rebuke you." That's interesting. Mm-hmm. So the angels never blaspheme or mock men, even evil men, nor the devil and his evil spirits. They just say, "The Lord rebuke you."
Yeah.
So, and it says they're higher, they're mightier, they're more powerful than us. Obviously, for now, and then when we get to heaven, we'll be above them. That's what Scripture teaches. So,
yeah. But coming back to, and this isn't even the topic we were wanting to talk about today.
I know, but
for those of you who know who want to know, because I mentioned at the beginning, we were going to talk about laziness and not having motivation, but
maybe I wasn't feeling that much lack of motivation today. I don't know.
And that was the kind of the theme behind this episode, I guess, and definitely not intended. But with this episode coming out so late, usually I drop Monday at midnight, so everyone has it Monday mornings. But it's already Tuesday night, and we're just recording now. So that was that. But kind of back tying into what we were. This all does tie in to what we were talking about: big picture, middle picture, small picture. We're fighting in the big picture ultimately.
Yeah.
And the big picture is God and Jesus, God, the 3-in-1, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God the Father, fighting. It's not even a fight against Satan. Over humanity.
Yeah.
But ultimately it's humanity's choice who they want to pick. And there's a portion of us that go one way, and there's a portion of us which is larger that goes the other way. And then that's the big picture. How's that happening on the middle plane, on the middle picture, on the globalism?
Yeah.
Is one of the steps, pushing towards certain ungodly values.
Breaking down the values of family, of freedom, of religion,
capturing your time and your mental capacity, so you don't have time for God.
Distraction.
Yeah, distraction, deception.
Distraction.
COVID-19 was a massive deception.
Yeah,
Satan being the master of deception.
It really is such deception, because at the same time it's real.
Yeah.
So people are like, "Oh, what do you mean?" But behind it, it's veiled.
Yeah.
And it says only the wise will understand.
Right.
In Daniel 12.
There's what's really going on, And then there's this image that's put in front of what's really going on, and that's what's shown to you.
Yeah.
And then when it comes time, that image will be removed, and then it'll be like, you need to accept this.
Yeah.
What's been behind.
COVID is like nothing
Yeah.
compared to what they want to do and
Right.
what will come, you know.
And that's just, the small picture. It started from the beginning
The
of
small
time.
pictures is like masks, lockdown, the small things that you're like,
I guess I was
pertaining to me.
I guess I was trying to say the whole middle picture, so to speak, started from, you can say it started from Adam and Eve, but even in our time, it's been a constant move towards this whole end times situation where Satan can
The
try to
culmination
dominate
of
and declare that war against God.
Yeah. Bro, I was like, when I just sit and think and like, because we were talking about even lack of motivation, and I think not all of it obviously, but maybe part of that lack of motivation is me looking at in the earthly sense. Okay, we have maybe a few more years, God willing, of like liberty, and then what?
Possibly,
You know, so that's part. It's probably not the majority of it. Probably just a part of it, but that makes me like I want heaven, man.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait for heaven.
Yeah, I know.
That like, I don't even know how to articulate it. Like, because you see the system here, you see the corruption here, you see that like. And we're young, we're just starting out. Like, we want to build something. We want to do, and you're seeing that being taken away and you're like, oh, okay, I'm done with this world.
Yeah.
Like, I want heaven.
Heaven is literally what these extreme leftists are dreaming
for.
That utopia.
Yeah.
That's only possible with Jesus.
The only
and in
utopia
heaven.
is in monarchy, and Jesus is the king.
Right. That's the only
It's not
time that's going to
democracy.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
the only-
not democracy. It's not socialism. It's not communism.
anarchy.
They've never worked. Those
Yeah.
things have never worked. They've been tried everywhere and multiple times.
The ideal on earth is democracy or monarchy with a really good king.
And like on the last episode, I was saying with Brandon, this stuff's been tried so many times in so many different ways in so many different places.
Yeah.
It's not going to work here again.
Yeah.
In a new way. It's not. Ultimately, we will be living in a utopia.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a part of it?
Absolutely.
Accept Jesus if you do want to be a part of it. If you don't want to be a part of it and you think you can create your own utopia here on earth, I would beg you not to. But if you're dead set on it and you don't care to listen to anyone else,
The Great Reset.
go for it.
Go for the Great Reset, man. All yours.
Go for it.
I'm not wanting that.
No.
I got a verse, and you said you got a balance, no?
Yeah.
So let me give a verse, and maybe we can wrap it up. About heaven, man. And it's such a nice verse. It's in Hebrews 12, I believe. At the end.
You got to have these set up.
What? Oh, I know. I didn't know we were going to hit on this.
Yeah.
Okay, the last two verses. Hebrews 12. Therefore, let us be grateful for receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, and thus let us offer to God acceptable worship with reverence and awe, for our God is a consuming fire. Therefore, let us be grateful for receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken. That's comforting, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I want heaven, because it's not shakeable like what we're seeing.
Yeah.
These kingdoms are shakeable, and they're shaking now. But come, Lord Jesus, come.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
This utopia is not here. America, as what America was, because it's not what it used to be anymore, was probably as close to a utopia as we'll get on Earth. Even there, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, people were suffering. There was still sickness and illness.
But
there was still poverty.
yeah.
there was still struggle.
But that was the earthly utopia with God at the foundation.
Yeah.
But when you take out God and you try to build a utopia, you're really building a dystopia.
Yeah.
A dystopian society.
100%.
And it's
100%. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. That you just corrupt. You corrupt.
And that's the middle picture happening right now.
Yeah.
They're taking a God-built, as close as we can possibly get, utopia
system on Earth.
And they're trying to turn it into a dystopia.
Yeah.
Where everybody's forced to follow these certain rules and laws for the greater good.
It's always for the collective, for the greater good.
Yeah. You got to wear the masks is the perfect example of that. This is the first thing right now that we're dealing with for the greater good. Well, not the first. Vaccines were before this. You need to vaccinate your child for the greater good.
To come to school or
just so other people don't get sick. But anyway, wear the mask for the greater good.
Yeah, man.
And then take the vaccine with a chip for the greater good,
bro.
So we can track you. So we can make sure.
I got the flu vaccine a few years ago. I was like, I'm never getting it in my life. I'm not getting any vaccine ever again.
Yeah.
Ever. I just felt really bad for a few days.
That's what my brother-in-law told me too when he got it.
I was like,
I think he got the most sick he's ever gotten sick since he had that. Well, up to that point and since.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. They put stuff in there that you have no idea what they put. Mercury and all this other stuff. Yeah.
Well, with that being said, everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Before you end it, I like that. I didn't see that. Pray for peace.
For you guys on video, it's going to be a little blurred in the background.
I like that, man.
It says pray for peace.
Where do you get that?
Same place I got the flag.
That's sick. Pray for peace, bro. For sure.
I actually got it. I look at it as God gave it to me because I got it for free, basically. I didn't pay anything for it.
It was banner.
It was basically, in a way, gifted to me.
Nice.
I'll say it in that way.
Before you close, whoever listens, intercede for the nation and intercede for this president. We need it.
Oh, yeah.
And during this time, if God allows another time of liberty, let's equip as Christians and as the church.
For sure. Even if not.
Even if not, absolutely. Like don't.
Even more so, prep.
Even more so.
Unite and get in community.
Yeah. But don't mistake this time of liberty if God allows it. And certainly there's going to be other things that are going to come that's going to be crazy, but
for sure.
But still, we'll probably have our freedom, at least here in America. Don't mistake that for just like being slack and lazy.
Everything's good and cool.
Yeah. Anyways.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I got to throw in this little speech, so to speak, towards here at the end. Since I didn't at the beginning, we got right into it. But go ahead and rate and leave a review or whatnot in whatever platforms you guys are listening to. For you fellas and gals on YouTube, go ahead, like our video, subscribe to our channel. It really helps us in the algorithm. We start to reach more people that might be interested in this kind of content. And so go ahead and do that. Share this podcast with everyone you know. Put it on your social media platforms. To this day, our first episode, where it was just all us brothers, got the most views, and that's because everybody was sharing it on social media. So don't forget to do that. It helps us a lot. And then if ultimately you guys love what we're doing, you want to support us financially, you can do so at anchor.fm/TFTP. And there's a link where you guys can make monthly contributions or one-time donations. I will look and work on another way of setting up a way where you guys can possibly, maybe an easier way where you can make contributions or help us financially so we can keep improving this podcast, and you can get more guests on and just keep moving one step ahead and trying to do better and better. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Narc, thanks for coming. I know we said that it takes a little bit and it's kind of difficult at times to make it out here, which I totally get that.
With love, my man.
But I appreciate that. Shout out to Alex for not making it today. totally understand. He was in a situation with work and cars and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Be blessed.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.